Hey Bat fans, Luke here, ready to Bat Chat about another Bat book, and today we're going to take a look at Batman Blink, which is a collection of stories found in the pages of Legend of the Dark Knight, which includes the issues 156 and 158, as well as 164 to 167, so if memory serves me correctly, I believe I saw 6 issues in here. And it's written by Dwayne McDuffie, with art by Val Semix, which I'm sure I'm butchering that name, Dan Green, as well as colors, I believe, it's colors, by James Sinclair. And what this book essentially is, it's a collection of stories that tells the Blink Saga. You might be saying, Blink Saga, what are you talking about? What Blink Saga, what I mean by that is that this book actually contains 2 complete stories that really tie into each other. First one being Blink, obviously, and the second one, which is a sequel to which, is entitled Don't Blink. And what the Blink story is mainly centered around this individual. His name is Hal Wyland or something like that. Lee Hyland. And what Lee Hyland is that he's essentially blind. And when I mean essentially blind, is that it's him right here, and you'll kind of see the glasses. But really, when he removes his glasses, that's what you see right there. He has no eyes, and he's blind, and he walks around with a support dog. But he has a special power, and what his power is that once he touches somebody, he's now then able to see what that other person is seeing through their eyes. So he's basically in their head, looking and seeing what that person he just touched is seeing. And the character initially, he kind of uses this power for bad. Obviously, he opens up. You actually see him. He actually is talking about this power that he has, and he mentions that what the abilities he can do. And then he goes around just running into everyone, and he talks about it's as simple as me just sitting there, just buying time. I'll sit there and spend days looking at what you're looking at, but at the end of the day, you're gonna have to sit there and pay your bills. And he mentions the one scene about the person who's paying the bills, the person he touched, and then there's the checkbook, and then you got to exit to the checkbook. Now you got the accounting number and the routing number, all that crazy embezzlement stuff. So he's basically using his powers for not good. And one day he's literally just walking around, and he stumbles on this girl is being attacked by this man. As this is occurring, there's all these random murders that are going on for all these random females with no apparent connection. And then what this individual Blink, and that's really what he's calling him, Batman later refers to him a couple times, what Blink does, again, he kind of stumbles on this happening, breaks it up. And then now he's kind of caught up into this attempted murder, which actually turns out to be something a lot bigger. Is that now there's also this attempted murder is actually going to happen, was actually a snuff film ring that's going around kind of serving some of the high-end people in Gotham. Kind of reminds me of the story of Black Mirror. That's actually my favorite Batman story, where you have this auctioneer who's selling off all these artifacts from major crimes that happened through Gotham. Kind of mentioned the crowbar that killed Robin, whatnot. But these auctions are going on and kind of appeasing the satiation of the high-end part of town, and not just the bad people, but the good people. So, but literally, this snuff film ring is going down, and it's involving some high-end people, again, at the same time as dealing with some criminals. And Batman gets wind of this and puts 2 and 2 together, obviously, because initially, Blink was initially the initial suspect of the murder, or the attempted murder. Actually, no, I take that back. Was it the first one? He actually stumbles on the body of another one. Was it the first one? Either way, he becomes a prime suspect, and what we end up finding out, that's why I don't know what it was. Duh. Was actually the second one, where the person who was involved in the snuff ring, who's actually the person that's actually committing the murders, actually gets double-crossed and is double-crossed by the person who's filming it. And it basically comes down to it's a case where Batman's got to solve the case and kind of bring down these people who are involved in this snuff ring, the snuff film ring, and bring justice. One night you see Blink kind of come into play. It's actually a really good story. The second half of the story kind of goes by like a year later. Initially, Batman at the end of the first one gives Blink a break. He kind of tips his hands like, hey, you know, basically because of all the effort you did, kind of saving the lives of the one female he kind of ran into in his first encounter. He's like, I know about all the things you did with the embezzlement and whatnot, using their powers for not good. I'm going to let you get a pass, but you basically got to walk on the straight and narrow from here on in. And whatnot. That's how it kind of ends. The second one, again, it's kind of like a year later, and Blink was on the up and up, but now the government is kind of taking interest in his power, so the government can kind of morph it and tweak it in a way to use it for their best interests. And what basically ends up happening at this point now is that this kind of molds into, or kind of bleeds into, as Batman goes by and kind of helps Blink escape this government entities, kind of using him. Actually goes into like this cryogenic chamber where it's like a sensory deprivation, where he's basically, the government is like leeching off his powers to, you know, observe other people. And from then on in, develop some technology based on his power, for their good anyway. But he gets him out, but then that leads into something later, and that now is he not dealing with the snuff film ring. Now this one, if that wasn't bad enough, they're dealing with this kidnapping ring. It takes like these infant children, like less than a year old, steals them from the infant's parents and then sells them like on the black market. And it's kind of delves into a little bit more of, again, now Blink using his powers to help Batman help solve the case. And at the end, it kind of comes back full circle with a government organization that was initially used in Blink, and then kind of kidnaps someone very close to him. And you see the story again kind of come full circle and whatnot. And it kind of ends in a unique way, in that it puts Batman in a position where I didn't think he would act the way he actually did. And we'll kind of get to that in a minute, but overall, this was fun. I thought the story by McDuffie was really well done. It's a very interesting concept, and the two stories, again, bleed very seamlessly together. Don't know if it was by design, and then he just did the first story, because I can't remember who did the story arcs between this one and that one, but it really did feel like a saga, if you would. A very short saga, but it's a 6-issue little trade. It just felt perfectly done. The dialogue throughout was really good, and you see this is ground level detective work. This is another, you know, Batman getting to his roots, just being a detective, solving the case, and he might have some help here by Blink. But at the end of the day, this really is Batman chasing down the facts, going after the bad guys. Not really much superpower in this. You see him in some fights. He gets his butt whipped from here and there every once in a while. But at the end of the day, this is just showcasing Batman as a detective, which I thought was really good. The art throughout was really good. You open it up in like the first page, and you're sitting there looking at what you're seeing in the actual story, and you're like, wow, this is really good art. It does kind of dial it back a little bit and loses a little bit of its luster as soon as it starts. But be that as it may, it's still good art. Credit to the art, the colorist, James Sinclair. What happens in this, it does it really well, is that when you get those scenes where Blink is using his powers to see what other people are seeing, you do see a shift into something more of a black and white. Like in this case right here, this is the person who's getting shot by this person who's kind of running the snuff film ring. And this is the point of view from the person that Blink is seeing, and you see that kind of like a black and white image, which I'll get to that blood scene here in a minute. But you see that a lot throughout here, so you kind of get the gist of, definitely, like in this case here it is again, you're clearly able to differentiate what's through like Batman's perspective or in the scenes around him versus the ones that Blink is using his powers to see what other people are saying, what I thought was really well done. Other person I want to mention is the lettering by Kurt Hathaway, and it works out good, and then it kind of works out somewhat blasé at the same time. A lot of Batman's inner dialogue, you'll see things where he kind of like get these cut out of a journal, and it's even referenced him actually keeping a journal. And it kind of mixes a little bit every once in a while. You'll get like straight lettering. Then you'll get some ones that has like a cursive point of view, which not really a fan of. But then you see stuff like when Blink is talking. I like how you get like the orange bubble. So it does have a good mix of the different letter boxes versus like the journal cutouts. But it's more of just sometimes how the lettering was executed. As far as I can see, some of it, it looks like a kind of a hybrid between just straight print. Now you're starting to get a little bit of cursive, which felt a little off. But other than that, again, you see some really gruesome scenes here. You see that one scene where we actually get, there's a bunch of murders in this book. That one where you actually see the person who was actually part of the snuff film ring actually being part of a double cross. And Batman's initially going into the crime scene, and this is what you see. It's just really well rendered, and then I like how you get like this pink hue of the scenes with the person with the who's involved in the snuff ring. It's just credit to the art, and like I said, you get some ones where it kind of loses a little bit of the detail in there, but the coloring and art throughout many parts of the story was really well done. The one thing that really kind of bugged me is actually two. Both of which is how the endings of the stories kind of played out. I thought the first part, for how much of a build-up it was with the snuff film ring, how it kind of ended was just kind of like, blah. It was just like, I don't know, it was just like, alright, we got 3 issues, and I think I'm going to do everything. Oh crap, I don't have enough room. And then it was just kind of rushed in there, and just the way it kind of came about was a little off. The same thing on the second story, with all the build-up we had with the child abduction ring, going to selling little infants on the black market. While I did like how it kind of came back full circle, I thought it began with that government entity was kind of using Blink for their own means to develop their own technology. How they kind of got brought back into the fold. As you read it, because something happened to them, Batman basically takes them for a ride. Not in good terms. How they came back was kind of like blah, and we literally go from like, Gotham to like the Himalayas sort of type of thing. It just felt jarring and then really rushed. But really, the thing that really kind of bothered me, and I have to spoil the ending in this, in that Blink is working with Batman to save the person that was close to Blink, basically. And Batman's kind of down and out. He got like a broken leg. And Blink, basically, to save this person that's very close to him, shoots the person, the bad guy, and right in front of Batman, and Batman sees it. And while Blink and this person that's close to him is kind of having this conversation, he's basically saying, hey, I'm now like a murderer. I think I did good by saving you, officer, but now, hey, I'm going to be known as a murderer. And Batman's response was like, are you? I didn't see anything. It felt really cliche with the whole vision and seeing angle, and it just felt like Batman just totally everything against what he kind of stands for. So the ending in both was kind of like me, and that second one just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. All in all, Blink was fun. Real quick, you read this straight through and like be done with it in like an hour and a half. And again, best thing about it, again, it's just Batman getting down to his detective roots and just being a detective, solving the case, hunting down the clues, getting after the bad guys. And you get a little mix of the supernatural with Blink, but you get a lot of good character development. This art is good. Again, sometimes the lettering, kind of take it for what it is. But this was fun, highly underrated, I think, but still good. This one's a newer trade that just came out not too long ago, at least in new version. I think it was total of, how much was this one? Wasn't that much. $14.99, so like $15. Heck yeah. Jump on this one, get it. I would rank it, I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5. The only thing that's holding me back from giving it a 4, which I initially was going to give it, was just how the endings, and particularly that second one, just kind of was a little bit of a Debbie Downer, but still a fun ride. Recommend it. So anyway, if you read Batman Blink, hit me up in the comments below. We will definitely bat chat about this one, because this is a good one. And if not, we'll still bat chat if you want to talk a little bit about it, and we'll go from there. So, until next video, take care.